the real question I have to you, Titus, I'll get away from North Carolina so people can stop worrying about the homerism. What is Coach K doing in this new era? You know what I mean? In the world of guys coming back, I know Jalen Johnson opted out of the season last year. I think he opted out of his Hornets workout the other day when they asked him to go do some dribbling drills. He was like, "Did
he really?
No, I'm kidding. But I assume
I would believe it. I would believe it.
Exactly.
I was like, wow.
See, that's your brand. That's your brand. You're the opt-out guy.
I opt out.
But what is Coach K doing? Because there's so many players on the market right now, and I don't feel like Duke is making a play for any of them. And I find that very surprising.
I like to picture Coach K just driving around Durham right now in a convertible. And he's just waving. He's just like going 5 miles. Like he's got his own personal parade. It's a 1-car parade, and he's just waving at everyone on the street. And everyone's just kind of looking at him like, "What?" And that's what he's just gonna do for the next year. Is just wave at everybody.
And there's a guy with the sign that just says "Clap now." Applaud now.
John Shire's running behind him, holding up a sign.
Yes.
He won't even let him in the car. He's just got to run beside him. No, it's a great question. I don't know. I don't think Duke's going to be as good as I think people want Duke to be this year. And I don't know, because like my read on college basketball, I think the worm has turned, Tate. And I think if you are going into a season looking at a great recruiting class as the thing that's going to push you over the top, I don't think that's the case anymore. I don't think you can say like we're bringing in 3 5-stars and that makes us one of the teams to beat. I mean, they could be good, they could not be good, but I think like we have enough data on this at this point, right? That like that doesn't mean anymore. And I think that the thing that people are getting excited about is the transfer market. I think when guys, it's getting guys back from the draft and landing big name transfers, and you do those two things, that works for me. That gets me excited because I know who those guys are. And I think we've seen too many times of 5-stars showing up. All 5-stars are not equal. That's what I've learned in the last 10 years.
Definitely not.
In the last 15 years, or however long we've been paying attention to the one and done game of teams trying to build national title teams overnight using freshmen. All 5-stars are not equal, and I don't know. The Duke recruits could be pretty good. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think they're going to be any better than the 2019 team. And the 2019 team didn't even make the Final Four. So I don't know. Duke will be fine. I'm sure they're going to be better than last year. But they're not moving the needle for me. Are they for you?
No, because if you look at the other blue bloods, and I'm trying to stick to the blue bloods. If you look at Kansas, like you mentioned, Remy Martin, Kansas. I mean, and then Agbaji decides to return. Mm-hmm. That's another name that we should bring
up. Jalen Wilson's back, too.
Jalen Wilson's back. I mean, Kansas is too deep of 5-stars pretty much at every position, and that's insane. So Kansas has obviously been able to finesse the test the waters transfer market. They've done a great job. Kentucky is another team that you have to look at. I mean, we mentioned Kofi Cockburn. I would be shocked if he's not going to Kentucky. I have no inside sources on this, but I mean,
but you see where it's going. It's just like, there are just times in this business where you're just like, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah, and they're playing the game. They're winning the game. North Carolina, Brady Manick, Dawson Garcia, potentially O'Banner. I mean, they're obviously playing this game and going all in and making it work and getting these guys that are top flight players already in college basketball. So that's why I find Duke so interesting, because they see, you mentioned identity crisis.
They got Theo John, right, from Marquette. That was like their big. Yeah, that's their big. That's pretty much it.
That's their big. So I'm waiting to see what the plan is, and maybe there's a splash to come, because I assume that they're trying to figure out what it looks like. But all the other blue bloods have it figured out, and UCLA they needed a 5-man. They got their 5-man. They needed Juzang to come back. They got Juzang to come back. They have a 5-star recruit coming in. And, they have it figured out. So in the world of blue bloods, in this new world of college basketball, it's all W's. And I know we've had a lot of friends of the program point that out to us, that it's a good day to be a blue blood. And they really have figured it out. But Duke is really the pariah in the anomaly in this group. And I find that very interesting, because Coach K is 1 foot out the door. And so what is that brand? What does it look like? What does that basketball brand look like moving forward?
Do you think there's a chance Coach K opts out of this season halfway through? He just retires early?
I have a sneaking suspicion that Coach K, like we've always, he's taken the D off the chest before. We know that the D matters more than the name on the back of the jersey, unless it's Coach K's name, because then that name matters everywhere. It has to be Krzyzewskiville, like throw it up everywhere. That's the most important name. And I do think there's a chance that he's okay to be bad as long as he is the only story, right? Because if Duke has, like you mentioned 2019, if they have a Zion, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett type team, those are the talking points, not Coach K.
Right.
So if he has a mediocre team and they are, trying to make the tournament and he's doing this great coaching job, even though he has 5 stars starting for him, but he's doing this amazing coaching job getting these guys into the tournament, he is more of the story. And I think there's a chance that's why they're not in the transfer portal. There's a chance that's why they're not trying to add any more pieces, because they're okay to build a 2010 Duke roster that somehow gets in the tournament and somehow makes a run. And that would be ideal for Coach K, and I think that's a great story as well.
I think you're absolutely right. I think Coach K is going back to his roots of being the underdog.
Yes, scrappy.
Having a team full of guys that I don't know what Duke basketball used to be. Maybe that's what it is. He's just bringing it full circle. This is the 1986 class all over again, and it's like
Paulo Banchero.
No one thinks we belong here. Yeah, Paulo Banchero, AJ Griffin. Dude, I just pulled it up. Parrish as Duke in his way too early. What does he call it? The N1 25
25 and 1, I think.
And 1. He's got Duke at 6.
Does he really?
Yeah. That seems again I don't know.
I mean,
maybe Gary knows something I don't know, but I'm looking at notable players expected return: Wendell Moore, Jeremy Roach, Mark Williams, Joey Baker. That's who you're bringing back, and then you're adding Paolo Banchero, AJ Griffin, Trevor Keels, Theo John, and Jalen Blakes.
I mean, Williams and Roach, I agree. I think they're pretty perfect. They're pretty prime but they're not.
I think they're going to make the NCAA tournament, Tate.
Of course. Yeah, I think so, but I don't think they're a 1 seed. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what's shocking to me, because I thought, like the way that Kentucky and Kansas and now even Carolina are trying to stack the deck, I thought Duke would be stacking the deck.
I thought K would go really hard on the recruiting trail, the transfer market, with this is my last year. This is your last chance. If you want to be in the Brotherhood, this is your last chance.
If you want to be in Coach K's family forever,
yes,
this is the time.
This is it. And he's almost like negative recruiting about Shire. He's like, because I'm telling you, everything's gonna get here.
He's like in the meetings. He's like.
That's what I saw him doing, and he didn't do it. I think you're right. That's why I really think he's just going around Durham, just like waving at everybody and kissing babies and saying like, "Thank you for all the support throughout the years." And
I need the Photoshop of Coach K on the cover of Michael Jackson's "This Is It," and I need Coach K's face on it. That's what I want. That would be good.
Other decisions, I guess we could hit on. Champagne's coming back to St. John's. His Julian Champagne. Justin's gone, right?
He's staying in the draft.
Yeah, he's definitely gone.
He might be a first-round pick, by the way. He's gotten some good, and certain teams really like him. So I think he has a late first-round potential.
Scottie Pippen Jr. coming back to Vanderbilt.
Yep,
that has to make you excited if you're a Vanderbilt fan. Few things do these days.
Let me just say, I hope Scottie Pippen Sr. is at his games. We need him commentating.
Oh yeah,
That's good for college basketball.
Scottie Pippen Sr. just goes live on Instagram during every Vanderbilt game. And just talk smack about Jerry Stackhouse.
I was going to say, there's a chance that Jerry Stackhouse and him get in a fight next season, so we're going to keep an eye on that. That'll be good.
Terrence Shannon back at Texas Tech. That's another decision that was made. Kofi Coburn, who we talked about last show, he is another big name we should mention, as he's in the transfer portal, though, but also he's not necessarily leaving Illinois. I find that fascinating, that that's being floated out there, that he might come back to Illinois. I wonder why he's doing that. I wonder why that is put out into the ether, because all you're really doing is giving Illinois fans hope, and we all know where this is headed.
This is Cliff Alexander. I don't like it.
I don't understand why you're doing this, Kofi. I think you should squash those. Just be like, I'm definitely not going back to Illinois. I just don't know where I'm going yet, because Illinois fans are slowly talking themselves into something has to go right for us in this offseason.
Yeah.
And I don't think it works that way. I don't think he's going to go to Illinois.
I'm going to go ahead and say this. I'm going to throw Kansas into the ring for Kofi Cockburn. You know what I mean? I just feel like Kansas right now, Bill Self is building literally a super team. You know, like we joke about the super teams in NBA basketball and how lame they are. I think Bill Self is taking that model and he's like, just give me all the top players that have Adidas affiliations. Send them to Lawrence, Kansas, and then I will figure out who plays from there. Kofi Cockburn, this is the brand thing again. Like, this is bad for your brand, Kofi. If you are going to go back to Illinois, never float that you're going to be in the transfer portal. You know what I mean? Don't even let that be a story. Even if you do look at it or you put your name into it, keep it all in the hush-hush, because now Illinois fans, like I saw Stephen Bardo, who's obviously Flying Illini alum and, you know, it knows the program well. You know, he was talking about Kofi Cockburn having some issues with the way fans had treated him. You know, I mean, talk about the online vitriol that guy had to read after losing to Loyola. I felt horrible for him. So that plays a part in it as well. And then those same fans are now saying bad stuff about him again because he's in the transfer portal. So you don't endear yourself to the guy to want to come back there, even if he did want to come back there. Obviously, his assistants that recruited him, Antigua, is down to Kentucky now. So it's a mess. I feel for Kofi Cockburn because I think he's a real talent, and he almost is in a very sticky situation because it's damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of now.
I would go to Kansas too if I was him. I think he's going to end up at Kentucky because that's the coaches he loves are there, and that just makes too much sense.
Yeah.
But Bill Self will feed that man the ball
every single time,
and over and over.
He should just put in a tape of Azubuike and just be like, look what I did for this guy. Like, you know what I mean? I just gave him the ball every time he was in the game, you know, and then you can run it back for every single team.
I mean, if you're stereotyping the difference between Bill Self and Calipari, how they use their big men, if I was a big man, I would much rather play for Self, obviously, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with Roy Williams gone. I mean, Self is like an old school inside out, legit. Like, I am going to put you on the block and feed you. Yeah. Which is,
but he's probably going to go to Kentucky. That's finally the last one on my list I wanted to bring up because this makes me so excited to say it. Marcus Carr is out of the Big Ten, Tate. He is not going to the NBA. He's decided he's coming back to college, but he put his name in the transfer portal. He will not be back in Minnesota, so I do not have to worry about this man anymore, which is a long way of saying Marcus Carr is almost certainly going to transfer to Louisville and beat Ohio State in the NCAA tournament this year. I think that's where we're headed. But all signs seem to be pointing to Louisville. Our buddy Mike Rutherford is getting titillated over the idea of Marcus Carr going to Louisville. And Louisville is a fan base. It is a program that nothing but good things happen to them. So what can possibly go wrong? I think it's 100% a done deal. Marcus Carr to Louisville. Lock it in.
Let's just hope that Chris Mack comes out and says this was the easiest recruitment of his life. Hey there, thanks for watching Titus and Tate. For the full friend of the program experience, subscribe right below and come join us for all things college basketball. The action is heating up. Come join Titus and Tate.